Look up at the sky on a clear, cloudless night. It is just you, the silence, and the endless dark ocean stretching above your head, dotted with millions of tiny points of light. What do you see in a moment like that? Modern science tells us that you're looking out from an insignificant speck of dust, hurtling and spinning through, an unimaginably vast, empty space, orbiting an average star. It is a story we all know, drilled into us since childhood by spinning those colorful plastic globes in school. But what if that ancient, deep-seated gut feeling that we aren't insignificant is actually true? What if the world is not an infinite, chaotic void, but a closed, protected place, a cosmic sanctuary? Think about the history of humanity. Ancient civilizations, the Maya, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, or the Babylonians, all shared a completely different cosmological worldview. Cultures separated by vast oceans and millennia left us the exact same model: a flat realm spanned by a massive solid dome called the firmament. Were they all just primitive, or were they in possession of a deep connection to the creative forces that we, in our technological arrogance, have long since lost? Imagine a Earth that is the motionless center of creation. Above us stretches the dome. Numerous ancient texts and the Bible itself describe this heavenly structure as a crystal clear, impenetrable vault that separates the waters below from the waters above. In this mystical reality, the stars are not burning nuclear furnaces billions of light years away, but tiny light sources embedded in the dome. If you look at them through a high-powered camera, you don't see solid rock, but pulsating, vibrating light energy forming beautiful geometric patterns. It is like ancient creative frequencies painting themselves across the celestial waters. In this worldview, the North Pole is the absolute center, the magnetic axis of the world. In ancient Vedic cosmology, this is the mysterious Mount Meru, around which the sun and the moon perform their perfectly designed circular dance. The sun and the moon are equal in size, but created for different purposes. The moon does not reflect the sun's light. It possesses its own cold, silvery radiance. It is as if the ancient principles of yin and yang were literally painted onto the sky. If north is the center, what lies at the edge? This is where the most mystical element comes in, the question of Antarctica. In this secret-filled reality, Antarctica is not a continent, but a monumental ice wall, an impenetrable glacial barrier that encircles our entire known world, keeping the oceans in. What lies beyond the ice wall? What if our Earth is just a tiny puddle on an endless glacial plain, beyond which lie further worlds, new suns, and hidden continents? The word extraterrestrial literally means just that. Extra territory, more land. Could it be that aliens do not come from deep space, but from the plane of our own world, beyond the ice wall, living under another dome? Is it a coincidence that Antarctica is the most strictly guarded area in the world? The 1959 Antarctic Treaty was signed immediately by opposing superpowers at the height of the Cold War, ensuring that private citizens cannot wander there freely. Following the famous expeditions of American Admiral Richard Byrd, the ice world was suddenly locked down. Byrd himself, in a television interview, mysteriously spoke of a land rich in resources beyond Antarctica, a land as large as the United States, where no human had ever set foot. What did they find while flying over the ice fields? Did they find the edge of the dome, or did they glimpse what lies beyond our world? When you immerse yourself in this fairy tale yet logically structured narrative, a liberating thought wakes up inside you. We are special, and the world was created specifically for us. This enclosed world provides a deep sense of spiritual security. And quite honestly, there is a powerful poetry to it, a romantic longing for a bygone era when humanity and the cosmos were still one. But here I must break this seductive spell, because no matter how fascinating this mystical journey is, measurable facts are our only reliable compass for understanding the physical universe. Let me be clear. I myself believe in a spherical Earth orbiting in space, not because I blindly accept textbooks, but because every single piece of objective, measurable reality supports this model. Scientific counterarguments provide a clear, rational refutation of the mysticism. Take gravity. In flat Earth theory, gravity does not exist. Instead, falling objects are explained by density or a disk continuously accelerating upward. But density alone does not determine direction. There must be a force that pulls objects toward a specific point. Gravity is that force pulling every mass-bearing body toward its center. In the universe, every celestial body of sufficient size takes on a spherical shape precisely because of its own massive gravitational pull, as this is the most stable, balanced form possible. The laws of physics do not tolerate massive flat disks. More than 2,000 years ago, the Greek scholar Eratosthenes used nothing but the shadow of a simple stick to prove irrefutably that the Earth is round, and he even calculated its circumference. If the sun were small and close moving above a flat Earth, the length of shadows would vary completely differently across different points of the world. Then look at ships on the horizon. If you watch a receding ship through a telescope, it doesn't just get smaller. It gradually sinks into the water. First, the hull disappears, then the superstructure, and finally the top of the mast. If the Earth were a flat table, a powerful telescope would let us see to the end of the world. In reality, the Earth's surface curves, and this curvature hides distant objects. The most overwhelming evidence is the motion of the stars. In the northern hemisphere, stars rotate counterclockwise around the North Star. But if you travel to the southern hemisphere, like Australia, the North Star disappears. Instead, the Southern Cross shines, and the stars rotate clockwise around a southern fixed point. On a flat disk, this is optically and geometrically impossible. Stars cannot rotate in two opposite directions simultaneously for two different observers unless we are standing on a spherical planet that is rotating on its axis in space. Finally, there are the flight routes of the southern hemisphere. On the official flat Earth map, Australia and South America are placed on opposite edges of the disk. On this map, a flight from Sydney to Chile would be impossibly long and would have to cross the northern hemisphere. In reality, direct commercial flights regularly cross the Southern Ocean, taking only about 14 hours. This flight time would be a physical impossibility across the exaggerated, splayed-out edge of a flat world, but it represents the exact distance expected on a spherical Earth. As you can see, precise scientific measurements instantly shatter the romantic mysticism. The formulas and gravity all form a perfectly coherent system that proves the globe. And as I said, I believe in this rational worldview myself, because logic demands it. Yet, right at the moment of perfect certainty, there is something that still unnerves us, something that lingers beneath the surface when you close the textbook. Because if all this scientific explanation is so foolproof, then ask yourself the ultimate question. How many times have you actually experienced this yourself with your own body? Every single day when you wake up, the ground is motionless and solid beneath your feet, and the surface of water always remains perfectly flat and horizontal. What if the flawless mathematical logic of science we admire so much does not describe reality, but is instead the most sophisticated illusion ever created? Do we believe the story of infinite space and a spinning globe because it is the absolute truth, or because it has been taught so successfully for generations that we no longer dare to trust our own eyes and common sense? If you can never see the bars because they have convinced you they stretch into infinity, how do you know for sure that you aren't living in a carefully constructed, closed terrarium